Right, here we are. Welcome to the latest edition of the WM32 podcast. Connor, I've gone big this week, my man. I've roped in 2 additional people because, as we know, this week it is derby week between North London's finest and you lot. So I've got with me, representing Tottenham as well with myself, we've got Joe, and representing the other half of North London, we've got Nelson with us as well. So if we're looking back at what happened with both teams last week, we'll start with you guys because you are the home team this weekend.
Yeah.
Obviously, defeat to Liverpool, 3-1. A lot of people have been talking about actually how good Arsenal were in that. Personally, I'm not 100% convinced. I know it is against Liverpool and they are probably a cut above the rest and them and Man City, but yeah, I just want to know what your thoughts were of the game, really.
We weren't too bad. We could have gone there and got absolutely trounced like we have in the past. So we weren't too bad. Went there, put up a good fight. Last 2 goals were very sloppy, but up until then we were in the game. Pepe takes his chance. It's different. It's one of them. Walk away from Anfield with only a 3-1 loss compared to what happened last year and the year before and the year before that isn't too bad, is it?
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Nelson?
Compared to last year, obviously it was a much better performance, but at the end of the day we still lost.
Yeah.
Drop points. Liverpool just sort of cut above, the class that they've got. Found out that I think their front three was bought for between 20 to 30 million. Now they're just world class players. Clubs just transforming. So there's nothing you can do when you've got that world class front three. So just looking forward to obviously this weekend. Looking to bounce back. So I hope to build on what happened at Anfield. So yeah.
And I think as well, boys, it's quite interesting because Arsenal's record in big games, especially away from home, isn't the greatest either. So obviously, I know you're at home this weekend, but I know it's derby week and whatnot, but you've got to be looking to try and improve on your record against the big six in general, really, not just away from home.
Yeah, we do, but as we said, there was times at that game where Arsenal caused a lot of problems for Liverpool. Pepe was, until he got into the box, pretty class. Sabah should have been playing in the middle, straight up, should have been playing in the middle. But I think we needed to have Laka on for the 90, at least give him 60 minutes. I know he's coming back from injury, but he would have given us something different, more pressure up top. He's a class player, we all know that. Looking forward to the weekend. We've got to go out and make a statement like we did last year. That game, even when you lot went 2-1 up at the carpet, there was no trouble for us. We've done it against big teams at the Emirates, apart from City last year when they had about 30 shots in about 40 minutes. It was unreal. Killed me. But we're going into this game and we've got to make an improvement on last week's performance, and to show people that we are going to be battling Spurs for 3rd and 4th, because that's going to be the 2 that are going for 3rd and 4th this year.
What about you, Nels?
Obviously our target is obviously just to get back into the Champions League. I think the last time we won away from home at any top 6 side was in 2015, January 2015.
That was
That was
City
at
game.
City, yeah. It was Sanchez
all
Goals,
over
it
one
was shimmy.
minute.
So obviously, to show that we're obviously contending for those top 4 places, we need to obviously improve our away record. So I think at home we had the 2nd best home record last season. So I think we're comfortable at home. It's just performing away from home and Emery actually getting his tactics right, because I think he tinkers around a lot with the team. So I think a lot of fans were divided, especially with the starting 11 last week, because Colin said, I think personally Laka should have started. He is a bit like, I think our front three is similar to Liverpool's front three. You've got Laka, who's like Firmino, and then you've got our 2 wingers who obviously bring that pace. So I thought we should have went gung-ho, front three versus front three. But yeah, again, just focusing, I guess, we can't get back at that now. We've just got to focus on this weekend and improve on that. Yeah.
Well, apparently the lads have been training hard. Freddie's obviously hates losing to Spurs. When he joined the club, he was told, you don't lose to Spurs. He had players in the academy last year, if you pulled out of a challenge against Spurs, he was pulling you off. So he won't let the lads forget that this is the biggest game of the season. And it is. For both teams. before you can say anything, because neither of us are going for the title.
No, we're not. We're not, and I think that is, I guess, a sign of the times for Arsenal especially. I mean,
Yeah.
we've never really been up there, especially in Premier League times. Anyway, we've never really been up there until probably recent. But yeah, obviously it's Derby Day, and who knows? But I think Nelson, coming on to your point that you made about Emre being tactically, do you think last season's game, especially at the Emirates, is going to be in Emery's mind? By the looks of it, he got his tactics completely spot on against Pochettino.
He did get spot on, but I think you guys have obviously added a few more signings, so I think it's obviously a completely different team to last year. So I'm not sure how he's going to set up for this weekend. I'd assume he'd probably go for the same, but I think it's also that confidence that the team have that we're playing at home. So I think, but then again, anything can happen. It's pretty much like Connor said, biggest game of the season. I always see it like a cup final for me personally. So not sure. I think with even last year, I think he didn't really know his starting. He didn't have a fixed starting 11. He changed it around a few times. So I think he's obviously, again, after his first season, I think he's still getting used to the squad and still figuring out who needs to kind of play week in, week out. So.
And moving on to Spurs, obviously a very, very disappointing performance all round against Newcastle on Sunday. And Joe, I think the main thing coming out of that game was just how sloppy we were in possession. I don't know what you thought. Obviously, you was at the game as well.
Yeah, it was a weird one because at times, we got in positions where we could cross it, put an early cross in, but then it's just like, no, let's take another touch, or take another, no, and you're having to take more and more. So I think at times the tempo was a bit too slow, which then I think cost us, because then that just let them get in their shape, and their shape, to be fair to them, they kept it quite spot on. And then at the times when we could have broken it down, the quick play, we weren't quick enough, we weren't decisive enough, I feel.
And I think as well, coming out of that game, it was a lot of, and I think we've had a pattern of this at Spurs, especially coming, second half of last season and whatnot, of a lot of play in front and down the sides of teams, but actually we can't get in between. Even when Eriksen does play, we struggle to find him in these little pockets of space and get him on the ball, and then he can try and orchestrate things there. And I think, like made a good point there about Newcastle's shape, but I think ultimately we should have had enough, and we did have enough on that pitch to break them down. Really, I just don't think we made the most of it. Really,
I completely agree. I think it was just at times I couldn't quite see Posh's tactics for that game. Like, you couldn't see like a game plan what he had. And that worried me a bit, because normally you can, I feel, but there was something with that game where you just sort of, okay, what's sort of the plan here? Because we kept playing it around the edge of the box quite a lot, without being threatening.
Yeah, and I think as well we had a lot of players that wanted the ball to feet. So Lamella, Lucas, even Sonny, who most of the time doesn't mind going in behind, even Lucas as well. But I think on Sunday they just wanted the ball to feet all the time, and even getting into Kane's space, and Kane is one that likes the ball to feet and will link play there. So I do think we missed, and I mean even when the subs come on, Eriksen wanted the ball to feet, Lo Celso wanted the ball to feet. So I think we did miss Dele big time in that game, because I think he's just a player that just stretches defences. Those runs from deep and whatnot. So, but I'm hoping that he's fit. Poch has got into the boys this week and told them that obviously the weekend wasn't acceptable, and that we have to bounce back in this game, because if we don't, we just know what's going to happen. We're never going to hear the end of it. In the same way we didn't last season. When they went on that massive unbeaten run and didn't get anywhere. We didn't hear the last of it just because they beat us. So I'm hoping, like I say, that Poch has got into the boys this week for sure.
Yeah, I hope so as well, because it was worrying how he came out and said the team's unsettled and all that as well. Like,
what are your thoughts on Poch's activity, shall we say, in the media recently?
Because I think it's it's weird coming out and saying, especially before a big, you know what I mean?
But it might be one of those things where he's come out and said it to get a reaction out of the players.
And that's the thing. I really hope it is. And
Because we've seen Mourinho do it in the past, where he's come out and put personal people on blast, and then you've seen him come out and play to a high level to prove him wrong. It could be going, the team isn't doing this, they're unsettled, and they come out to prove him wrong.
yeah, because that's the thing. Him coming out and saying, "Oh, squad's a bit unsettled." Everyone knows who that's going to be, because we know who wanted the move.
Yeah.
No, Ericsson. I believe, obviously, Wanyama hasn't been in the matchday squad, so I think he must be unsettled. He must be close to leaving, and I think Aurier as well. I think them three are probably unsettled. Whether or not there's anyone else, obviously, there's the Tongan situation. No one has a clue what's going on, really.
Yeah.
There's obviously loads of rumours going about, but who actually knows? Obviously, just people in a club. And for him to come out and say that, I feel now he has to then make a point with his team selection as well. He can't then go and start. I feel if he then goes and starts Ericsson, obviously I spoke to you in the week and you said Jan and Ericsson must play.
Yeah.
For me, in a way, I wouldn't actually start Ericsson, because if he's really that unsettled, for Pochettino to come out and say that, it's that sort of game where you need people who are 100% there. That's my feeling on it. Obviously, everyone's got different opinions, but if Dele's fit, I'd bring him straight back in, personally.
I think Dele's your biggest threat, and if he's back and in this game, he'll be your biggest threat.
Because he loves it.
Big game player.
Big game player.
That's the thing, like you look at it, Arsenal are going to be weak at the back. You've got no Bellerin, you've got no Rob Holding, who was probably our best centre back until we got injured last year.
Yeah.
Kieran Tierney's still out injured. You look at it and you go, Maitland-Niles probably playing right back, who's a centre mid, lapse of concentration going backwards. Monreal, who's in his 30s, bless him. Alright, Kolasinac, who, as I said to you last week, it's not his fault he can't defend. He's a winger, let's face it like that. And then you're going to have rather Socrates and one other at the back. If it's Mustafa, he might as well give you at least a draw now. He needs to get out of the club as soon as possible.
But you mentioned giving us a draw. Socrates actually did that at Wembley.
He was offside, and I don't know why Mustafi just goes, I'm going to push him as well.
So yeah, I think obviously mentioned a few names in terms of key men and key battles across the pitch. I think from a Spurs perspective, I think as we mentioned there, Dele is going to be, if he's fit and he can play, I think he's going to be massive for us on
even if he
Sunday.
doesn't start, he'll be involved,
make an impact.
He'll do what Ramsey did last year, especially if it's like around the same scoreline. Come on, flip the game completely, and that will be something Arsenal will miss in, unless you have someone unless he holds off maybe Pepe or Laka to see how the game goes and then throws them on. But if it's like 2-1 to Arsenal at half time, you bring on Dele and Dele flips the game like that, it will be the perfect move.
I think we've seen it before with Dele, especially in the big games. He loves a goal against Arsenal. He loves a goal against Chelsea. He's literally Chelsea's nemesis at the minute. He's even scored against City, United, and whatnot as well. I think even against Liverpool when we turned them over at Wembley a couple of years ago. So I think Dele will be the key for us, and like I said, I think he'll be crucial for us because he does stretch the play. And I think when our centre backs have the ball and they are looking for that option, on Sunday we didn't really have it, but I think Dele provides us with that option. I also think that Ericsson will be key for us even if he comes off the bench or not, even if he starts. I think he is a player that can unlock a door. He can pick a pass, find a pass, and really test the Arsenal back line. But I think we've got to get him in positions where he can do that.
And it also depends how he reacts to this Pochettino, because he'll know it's about him.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's about him, and so he's then got to come out and make a point. If he comes, I don't think he will start now. Personally, I think he will be on a bench. But obviously, there's a good chance he will come on, and he has to make a point. Obviously, everyone knows he's got the ability there, because he can be absolutely fantastic. But it's just hope, and I love him. I just hope he.
Well, that's the thing. He's always been better when there's pressure on him.
Yeah.
In those bigger games, when people put question marks about him.
That's true.
He's performed and showed people that he is at that caliber where Real Madrid should be going for him.
See, I don't think that's the case with Eriksen. I think when people are really looking for him to step up, I can't see on many occasions. Yes, I mean there has been late goals. I mean, you look at Palace, Brighton, you know, and in years gone by he has done it, but it's been, you know, I'm talking individual games here. I'm not talking a run of 5 or 6. You know, when, if for example, when Kane's been injured, Eriksen hasn't been the one that really has stepped up. It's been, you know, especially last season, Dele, Sonny, or who I think, you know, Sonny's going to be a really, really key player for us come Sunday, because I think he's just electric. He's dangerous. He's unpredictable, I think, at times, but as well, he has this thing where he'll face a player up, step over, he's gone. Almost like that thing of, you know, it's coming, you just can't stop it. A bit like with Robin cutting him on his left and scoring. You know it's going to happen, you just can't stop it. And I think Sonny has enjoyed playing at the Emirates the last few years. I think he's got quite a lot of joy out of it. I remember the draw a couple of seasons ago, and last year at the Lane, he
in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, Carabao Cup games. He's turned. I wouldn't say he's turned up, but he's been one that you can't.
He stood
really
up and was
fault
made
on.
that he was known.
Yeah.
But it's like, Sonny could do that, then you could look at it on the flip side for Arsenal, where you could have Aubameyang do what he did last year at the Emirates, or you could have Laka come on and make an impact if he doesn't start, depends how his injury is. You've got, I think Sabas is going to be a massive player for us this weekend, especially if he's starting in the centre. I think the biggest battle will be between Ndombele and Sabas in the middle of the midfield, because Derby's the one in midfield.
Yeah.
So that is going to be a battle that I'm looking forward to, but I think it's going to be a tight game.
Yeah. What about you, Nelson? You thinking is going to be key for you boys this weekend?
You mentioned Son, so I think if Son plays on the left, I think Ainsley Maitland-Niles will be a big. I think that's a key battle, because like you said, Son is very unpredictable. He can go left, he can go right. And I think Ainsley needs to be, you know, on his game for us to kind of win on the weekend, because he does bring a lot going forward. He definitely brings a lot forward with his athleticism, and he's, for someone of his age, he has his composure on the ball is really impressive. But I also think that could be his weakness, because when he gets too comfortable, then
that's when the mistakes come in. It's like you saw it against Liverpool. To jump back to that, like how important their fullbacks were for him in Robertson and Trent. It's almost the exact same for Arsenal. If Bellerin isn't playing, you haven't got a backup right back. You're playing a centre mid at right back. If when Tierney comes back, if he gets injured again, you're looking at playing Monreal or Kolasinac. And like we had to last year, play a back three to adapt to Kolasinac strength. So for those who's been missing, is going to be massive for Arsenal, and that's where I think Spurs are going to get their joy, because we all know it, they like to play down the wing, they like to get in behind, they like to put the ball in. It's very much like City, get to the byline or whip the ball in, cut back, whip it in. Because Kane's an aerial threat and he will score. We know he's going to score at the weekend. He's got a great record against Arsenal. It just, the full-backs for Arsenal have to be on their game.
Yeah. Speaking of full-backs, Joe, who's playing right back for us on Sunday? Because Carl Walker-Peters went down and had to go off in the end, and we ended up playing Moussa Sissoko at right back. Now, Sissoko has gone from 0 to hero in effect, but not as a right back. He's a centre mid.
Yeah, that's the thing. I had a little look, and apparently there's still a good chance of Walker-Peters playing. I think it weren't too serious. However, see if he doesn't. I think Aurier's. I think he's gone. I think because he hasn't been in last. Is it last two? Definitely.
I don't think he's been fit because he decided to smash a table on international duty with his wrist and he wasn't even playing.
But I'm sure he was back for Villa, wasn't he?
No, I think he's been back in training, but he's not quite up to.
That's my bad then. But
do you want someone who's not fully there playing?
That's the
thing. I think personally with Aurier, I think he is one stupid decision away from a card.
When you say card, it's a stupid decision from a red card.
And you know, you can't risk that in a derby. I mean, we've had it at West Ham where, you know, 2 silly challenges and he's been sent
3-0 up,
Yeah.
and then made it difficult. I remember that.
So yeah, I don't. But if needs must, needs must, I guess. But
What do you think about that? What about Foyth?
he's
injured.
injured.
He's injured.
as well.
Foyth's injured.
Jesus, who you got at the back?
So, but one thing I think that, you know, Toby at right back. He's played there for Belgium, so I don't. It's
He's
not a fish out of water in that
Yeah,
respect. I
but-
know you'd rather him in the middle with Jan, preferably, but
I can't see that because I think, say, Aubameyang on the wing.
You've got
you
like-
say that, but then do you remember the
No.
Dortmund game when
Yeah.
Alderweireld made up those yards against Aubameyang?
Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong,
but you
yeah, but I don't know. Toby will be centre back. He
Yeah.
will not put him right back because he is, at the minute, he's our main centre back. He will not move him. I really.
Poch will move heaven and hell to make sure that Walker Peters plays.
Or
Pretty sure.
if not, I wouldn't be overly surprised if he played Sissoko there. I wouldn't. But the thing is, I remember Barcelona last season away. Walker Peters came off like the last half an hour or so. He came off for a
Well, he
bit.
started, didn't he? Walker
Yeah,
Peters,
Walker
and that
Peters,
was-
and he made a mistake, but he done well after that. And Sissoko played there for a bit, didn't put a foot wrong. That's again, I know it wasn't. Then again, the last half an hour they had Messi and all that on, but
I mean,
that's the thing.
For the record, but it's against Barcelona. I mean, if you're at Barcelona anyway, there is something about you. You do not sign
Yeah.
for Barcelona if you
Yeah,
are
exactly.
of a certain level.
And I feel
You say that. What about Boateng?
He's got a good agent. I'll give him that. His agent's done well with him there.
but that'd be an interesting. I do feel Walker Peters will be fit because he'll make sure he's fit as well. I feel because he hasn't played in one yet, has he?
No.
I don't believe.
No, I don't believe so either.
No, and obviously Tottenham lad, he will make sure he's fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if he has to come off after 70 minutes,
He'll understand the game. He'll understand what it means. And
Exactly.
that's the thing. I
Things
think
like that.
Pochettino will know that. I feel so. That would be interesting.
You always need a player like that in a big game like this.
Exactly. That's the thing. I think we've got them sort of players though who
You have.
understand it. We've got
It's
Winks
like,
being one.
Yeah. It's like you look at Arsenal's probably only person that knows what a derby means to Arsenal fans. It's probably Bellerin.
Yeah, but
And
yeah.
He's not going to be there.
He's not gonna be there.
So you're looking at the likes of Lundberg and Bellerin getting into people's ears while they're in training. And
maybe Xhaka. He might.
I think there's a few
Yeah,
players at Arsenal
also
that have been there
A while.
sort of long enough now,
No,
like at
yeah.
Ozil, for example. I know he probably won't play,
He
But-
won't start. I think he'll come on.
but you know he's one that's been around at Arsenal long enough now to know
Yeah, I think.
what it means.
I mean, with Ozil's a bit.
Guendouzi will know what it means as well. I mean, look at him last year. He'd been at Arsenal 5 minutes and he's getting heroes receptions and things like that.
But he's got sauce. I like that boy. He's my guy.
I think I think each area on the field will have its key battles. So you mentioned Ceballos and Ndombele. I think Son and 80 Maitland-Niles will have their battle, and I think obviously Toby will have his battle with probably Laka or Aubameyang. One of them two. I think probably Laka, because obviously Laka will probably want to hold the ball, bring everyone else into play. But obviously again that depends on them. We just don't know. We just
Yeah.
don't know what he's going to start with.
You've got Kane against what?
I think Kane
Socrates?
always has his field day against us.
Yeah.
He honestly, like his record.
It'll be
against
another
us is
penalty.
Impeccable.
Listen, not everyone can score from 12 yards. Just ask your boy Pierre. Do you know what I mean?
Did it
Yeah.
did it at the carpet last season? Just
Didn't do it at Wembley, and you missed out on the Champions League by a point. So
Yeah,
No,
but we
he
also
scores
drew
that.
against Brighton
I
and
mean,
lost
if
to Palace.
he scores that penalty, you guys finish in the top
we're in the
four.
top, yeah.
So. But Nelson, you mentioned there about you don't know what Emre's going to go with in terms of an 11. Who would you like to see play in your 11?
I'm just gonna go in Emery's mind because if it's
Good
me,
evening.
if it's me personally, I think my team would be completely different. I'll go obviously Leno in goal. I think the back four won't change from last week. I honestly think he won't change it from last week. I think Socrates and David Luiz will be in the middle. Let's just hope David doesn't do anything stupid like he did.
Well, to be fair, against Spurs, he he's got a half decent record against Spurs.
He does.
What about the game?
He did, yeah. I mean, the one at Wembley last season.
One at Wembley last
I think
season.
he's been left at Wembley by Heung-min Son. But
Was that
Most
just
people
like
were.
Salah's goal, wasn't it? Like Son went round.
fairly
Yeah,
similar.
just
Fairly similar.
Yeah. I think Socrates and David Luiz will go in the middle. Obviously Monreal will go on the left. Ainsley and Ronaldo will go on the right. I think in midfield, I hope in terms of that, I think he'll go 3 in midfield. I think he'll go Torreira, because Torreira played exceptional in that last game at the Emirates against you lot. I think Guendouzi will play. I don't know. There's something that I think he likes about Guendouzi. Personally, I just think
He's good on the. He's not great on the ball, but he's good, and he doesn't mind flying for a challenge.
yeah.
And
Nice.
in the style Emery plays, that's what I think. I'm pretty sure you're going to say the same midfield for his knee of Torreira, Sabatis, and Guendouzi.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at how he's going to want to play. He's going to want to play high pressure and put Spurs players under a lot of stress in that game, and that midfield three will do it.
Yeah.
So who's up top then, Nels?
I mean, there's no.
Is there a point at all?
Is it the front three, or could Emery spring a surprise and maybe add an extra
Do
body
you know
in
what,
midfield?
I think I've got 2 options in terms of my front three. He could go for the 3 that we expect him to put, which is Laka, Aubameyang, and Pepe. Or I think he could put Reece Nelson in there.
He started well.
I don't know why, but I just think he wants to put in the. I feel like this policy of like obviously trying to put the youth in. I do think Reece. I think Reece has got something about him in terms of. I mean, you saw Pepe; he's a great carrier of the ball. I think Reece is also the same. But I'm just putting Reece in there simply because of just not knowing what Emery is going to put. But
And how fit.
I'm going to go with Pepe on the right, Aubameyang on the left, and Lacazette in the middle.
Connor, are you going for
Well,
any changes or
not
pretty
really. I'm
similar?
going Leno in goal just because of how well he played against you last year, and he's our number one. He's prone to a mistake, but almost every keeper is. If you look at in Luis, like every keeper's prone to a mistake, but can pull out amazing saves like he did. Whose shot was it last year where he had no right to save off the rebound from Kane's shot? He's going absolute top.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just okay.
Yeah.
I remember that because I was just oh
I was-
moment.
I was sat in the casino watching. I just went, thank God.
So you had the t-shirts ready if I was there when Sissoko scored, right?
I literally. They've got no, they haven't. No way.
See, I'm debating how he's going to line up at the back. I'm certain the back two centre backs are going to be Luiz and Socrates. I'm debating if he's going to throw Kolasinac in because he's a physical player, and if he's up against anyone with anything like that of him, if he puts, say you lot start Lucas Moura out on the right and he's up against Monreal, he's got him on toast every day of the week. If you put Kolasinac, there's a little bit more of a battle there. So he might start.
I'm not too sure.
Might start like that, but yet again, as we said earlier, if you're putting in Kolasinac, you're gonna have to put in another defensive-minded player. As I said, same midfield three. I don't think he'll start Xhaka. Xhaka's just too prone to a mistake and prone to a red card in a game like this. I'm debating if he's going to play Joe Willock over Guendouzi, but I think he's going to go Guendouzi just because of obviously there's something about him. And Sabatis has to be starting for us. On the exact same front three of Laka, Pepe, and Aubameyang, but I can see him putting in Reece Nelson because he started the season well, and also there's something about him where he senses danger, but he just needs to hone that finishing ability. But he senses danger and he knows where to be. So yeah, that's my starting 11.
I think Kolasinac would be a good option to bring off the bench.
Yeah.
I think Monreal is better. I think he has a better IQ defensively. I think Kolasinac is quite flat-footed on defence.
Yeah.
So I think you said that if it was between Lucas and Kolasinac, it might be a bit more tougher for Lucas. I think Lucas would have a field day against Kolasinac. I personally think
Lucas is having a field day against anyone other than Tierney at the moment.
Lucas is an absolute baller. I think let's not get it twisted. So I think he'll probably go for more experience. Obviously, Ainsley's probably the only one on the right side of the fence that will have a bit of an experience. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I guess that's our predicted lineup. Yeah.
So for the better side of North London, Joe, who are you going for?
Well, obviously Hugo in goal. right back, as we said, I do believe Walker Peters. He will make sure he's fit. He will be there. If not, I've got a feeling he'll play Sissoko there. But I'm going Walker Peters. Toby. I'd love Jan. However, some things there. I feel Sanchez is going to play. As much as I don't like it, and as much as I would love to see Jan there, I do feel Sanchez is going to play. I think Danny Rose. Formation-wise, I don't fully know what formation we're going to play. You never do.
You've started with the back four, Joe. It's a good start.
Yeah, yeah, we've got the back four. We know that's going to happen. Right?
Yeah.
But attacking-wise, you never know, really. I think Ndombele will be back in if he's fit. I believe he will be. Winks will play. I think it could be like a 4-2-3-1 sort of formation. So maybe them two. Then I'd have Deli if he's fit any day of the week. I'd have Son, Mora, and Kane. I'd have personally
scary.
Yeah.
because I just think obviously there's a good possibility they're going to start with Pepe and Aubameyang. I think match them. Because if you go in there with a mindset, okay, no, we've got to be a bit more defensive. You're on the back foot. I think if they're attacking us, and then obviously I think your defence is shaky, and we can counter attack with Son, Mora. I would quite like that personally. But then if Dele isn't fit, I'd personally maybe even play Lamela. I know Lamela frustrates me, do not get me wrong. He loves a game like this. I always remember a couple of years ago at Wembley, he came off the bench, first thing he done, got the ball, played through ball, nearly scored. Second thing he done, absolutely crushed Jack Wilshere. I'm like, I love you. I love you.
I think I remember that one, and I remember, I think, after that tackle, just go and build him a statue outside the ground just for that, because,
laughing in his face as well.
Yeah, that was great from Coco for sure.
He takes too many touches. He is one-footed. Let's face the facts. Has he ever used his right? Don't think so. But obviously with Rabona, that's his ill. But
I think even that was left-footed.
yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like he was
just
on
on
his
his
right.
right.
You know, have that.
No.
But that's the thing. I think for a game like this, I wouldn't mind seeing him in there. However, obviously, if Daddy's fit, straight in.
I think for me, obviously, I think Hugo's going to start in goal. I think right back, yes, there's question marks, but I think you might be right. I think Kyle Walker-Peters will be fit and will probably play. I think Toby's going to play, but I just hope that, after the European window's closed anyway, Poch and Jan have a chat and just get it out and put their differences aside, because Vertonghen has been Mr. Consistent for Spurs for so long. I know I probably saw him have his worst game in this fixture last season, but that was probably highlighted by the fact he was playing next to Juan Foyt, who is still learning the game in that respect, and don't think that helped either of them, because Jan's the experienced one in that back line. He's the one that needs to help him and guide him and talk him through the game.
Like trying to save him if he.
But when Jan's having the nightmare that he had, he can't really do that. And then I think that obviously heightened the fact that Foyth was then prone to making a mistake here and there and whatnot. I think Danny Rose will probably play at left back. I quite like Ben Davis.
So do I.
He gets a lot of stick because he's not Danny Rose, but I think if anybody looks at the Newcastle goal at the weekend, and people are moaning at Sanchez, I think people have got to look at Danny Rose defensively in that position there, because I think he's got caught out. And this isn't the first time Danny Rose has been caught out defensively either, by the way. I mean, if we look back at the City game in the Champions League, and in other games, especially against City, he's been caught out big time. Even the one a couple of weeks ago, I think there was a ball that had come in from Sterling or De Bruyne, and he just got. I'm thinking if Bernardo Silva had actually engaged the ball, Danny Rose doesn't check his shoulder to see where Bernardo Silva is at any point, so I mean, if Bernardo Silva was a bit more proactive there's probably a goal for City. I think midfield-wise, yes, I'm a bit like you. It is difficult to know who's going to play and how we're going to set up. But I think Poch is insistent on this diamond. I personally don't think it suits us.
No.
But he's insistent on it. So I'm probably going to go. I reckon he'll go with it, and I think he'll go with Winks at the base, with Ndombele and Sissoko either side. Because I think in this game we're probably going to need players that can carry the ball, and I think that's why Sissoko has come on leaps and bounds, because he is a ball carrying midfielder. Almost, he's not as good as Moussa Dembele, but he is somebody that can carry the ball and take the team forward and get us up the pitch when we need it. And then I'm a bit like you as well. If Dele's fit, I would start him. If not, it will probably be Lamela. Poch has said Lo Celso's not quite up to standard just yet, so it would be unlikely that he will play. But then saying that, you've got to try and find a place for Eriksen in the team, and it's tough. And I think up top we'll go with Sonny and Kane. I really do, and I think he'll try and stretch Arsenal in that respect. But then when we have played like that, we have looked a little bit out of sorts. I mean, saying that, it did work against Chelsea when we played with Dele, Sonny and Kane as a three. But I just think that sometimes Dele is out wide, and I just don't think it suits him. I think Dele's most productive season was when he was as a number 10, arriving late in the box, scoring goals, things like that. The runs from deep, Alvaro picking him out with 60-yard pings that give every Spurs fan life and whatnot. But I just think that's the way we're going to go. Like I say, if Dele's probably not fit, I reckon it'll be Lamela.
Yeah, I
think
Dele will be on the
Lucas
bench.
will come off the bench. I think.
I think Dele will definitely be on the bench. So he's been back in full training for a bit. I feel he had a late fitness test for the Newcastle game, didn't he? So as touch and go for Newcastle, whole week later, you'd like to think
He'll be involved.
He'll be involved somewhere.
I think he will want to be involved.
Exactly, he'll want to be involved, and Poch will know, even if he's on the pitch for 10 minutes, let's say,
He's going to make a difference.
he'll make a difference for that 10 minutes.
Yeah. Score predictions.
I'm going goal first like last year. I'm saying 3-2 Arsenal.
Nels, we're going for.
I was going to say 3-1 Arsenal. However, if they go with your formation, where Moura, Son, and Harry are playing up top, and obviously if we play our front three, I think it's going to be a goal fest. I'm going to go as big as 4-3. I'm going to.
That would be a nice one.
Bold claims.
I'll go as big as 4-3.
Neither team can defend at the moment.
I'll go as big as 4-3.
Joe, we're going for.
This is a hard one. I've been thinking about this. I could see it being 2-2 potentially, depending on what team he picks. There's going to be goals.
Yeah.
If it's 0-0, and
If it's 0-0, I'll give Wesley 50 quid.
shame on it.
That's like.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If he does, I'll swing me a 10.
Just 10.
I'll take that. But then I think if Dele plays, I can see us nicking it. 3-2. Imagine that. Another Kabul moment.
Oh my word.
Imagine
The
that
best
last
bit about
minute.
that game though was Rafael van der Vaart scoring the penalty, walking around the back of the goal, and shushing the Arsenal fans at the Emirates.
He's my hero. If I saw Van der Vaart in the street, I think I'd cry. Just saying.
The best bit of that game was that we had Maran Shamak as our striker.
Fabian
Goal
never looks so good in pink, is he?
Score predictions wise for me, I think it's going to be. I think it'll be a tight game.
Yeah.
I think it'll be very, very tight. I'm going to go 2-1. 2-1 Spurs.
There'll only be one goal in it, I think.
Yeah.
Because I saw Paul Merson's prediction. He went,
4-1.
and he said 4-1. I was like, hold up a minute, mate. Like,
I sat there, I was watching it, I was there like, he's going to look like such a mug.
I really
He
hope
does
it's
anyway.
like, personally. Imagine if it's Rob, like, okay, I'm just going to go and hide in the cave in Mexico for a few weeks. I'll see you guys
Let's
later.
face it, at the end of the day, there's going to be Arsenal fans shouting at 8 o'clock on YouTube and everyone's going to be happy.
No matter
Not
what.
everyone. Not
No,
everyone.
no.
But
I think regardless, Arsenal fan team will be entertaining.
It will.
Let's just hope for our reasons.
Yeah, let's hope.
Let's hope not.
Louise, get him out already.
Yeah, because obviously, I think Paul Merson said 4-1, and then I think he went along the line saying that we'd rip you guys to shreds.
And Jamie O'Hara was like, what?
But I just think with this game,
Jamie
I
O'Hara
don't think
piping
you
up.
can. I don't think you can make that prediction. I'm trying to think of the last game where it was a landslide. I'm trying to think. I think it was back in 2013.
He's going to bring up the
2014.
Carabao Cup one.
Genuinely, it
Like, I
could
can't
be
remember.
that 5-1 when Bent
What about
scored
the
the
5-2s,
the 5-2s.
But yeah,
But-
5-2.
Yeah, the 5-2. But the thing was, the 5-2s, they were still tight.
Because we was 2-0 up, and it's like,
Yeah.
then you get the momentum,
Yeah.
and it just
Remember
changes it.
back we sang his header. I love that.
Yeah, I
Man.
can't remember the
Oh,
last
I'll
landslide.
blank out then, yes.
Yeah, it must have got to be the 5-2s then at the Emirates.
I
yeah.
believe so.
So if we're looking back then on games, what is the one Derby Day game or a couple? I might give you guys a couple. I'm going to be nice today. That stands out for you as the one that you look back on the most sort of fondest.
I've got one. It was
Go on.
Invincibles when we won the league in your backyard. I remember sitting there. You lot thought you stopped us winning the league. Your players celebrated, and Oliver turning around to him going, "We only needed a point, mate." And our lot just going absolutely mental in your end. There isn't a better way to win a league title than him.
Do we make the point now that you win the league over 38 games and not in one, Joe? Or do we leave
Yeah,
that
but
for another
still,
time? Can we leave that for another time, or
if you won the
We can talk
league,
about it.
if you ever win a league title, and you happen to clinch it at the Emirates, you will not let that go.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
I'll
you
be
guys
knocking around
can
every
get-
Arsenal fan's house. By the way, mate, unlucky.
Like,
I mean, you guys haven't let that one go clearly.
exactly.
No.
But it's like, I
No.
remember the 5-2 ones. The 5-2 ones were amazing because me and my dad were sending Tottenham fans dog leads when they were calling us up going, "Why are you sending us dog leads?" "Oh yeah, send them back. Forgot you can't hold on to a lead, can you?"
Well, I'll get to that.
I think.
For you, Nels, is it the, as you call it, invincible season, or
I mean, because you gave us a couple, that was probably my number one.
yeah,
However, I think I need to stress the importance of last season's 4-2 win
Yeah.
because that was the first game post-Wenger era,
right?
and I think the fact that obviously everyone knew that Emery would have to have time to settle in, get to know his squad, but I think that vibe, I can't remember the Emirates being that noisy since
Since it opened.
Since
Yeah.
it opened,
Yeah.
but since the
Since
game,
the
I
Builders'
think
Week.
the game that we won against Barcelona 2-1 in the
Oh.
Champions League. I think
shouting.
that's a long time ago. So I think the fact that we had a new manager,
Yeah.
it was something new to
It
get
was.
excited about. We had obviously had new signings, and then little Lucas Torreira takes off his shirt.
Mate, he shouldn't have been booked for that celebration.
No,
Give that man a night.
yeah, I think that game. Obviously, we went on the unbeaten run, but
Don't even say it got us nowhere.
I
'cause
think
it
a
didn't
lot
get
of
you lot
Arsenal
anywhere when you
fans-
went unbeaten.
I personally think a lot of. Don't get me wrong, an unbeaten run's impressive, but I think
Yeah.
the quality of teams that we faced during that unbeaten run
They weren't
wasn't
great.
up to scratch until we faced you guys.
Yeah.
And then when we beat you guys, everyone thought, okay, you know what, we've made a statement. I think some people got carried over their heads, and then you guys beat us in the Carabao Cup.
And put
Literally.
you back in your place.
Right.
It's
So
like,
I think that
Good bit
game,
of salt from that chip.
Yeah.
I think that game gave us the
Good goal, to be
confidence,
fair.
especially
Second goal there.
against top six sides. Especially at home, I don't think except for City at home last season, we didn't lose to any other top six sides. So
It's City.
yeah,
City
Yeah,
are
it's
a
like the
different
top
planet.
6, but then City.
Yeah.
and they're B team.
Yeah.
According to Jose.
Yeah,
it's
Jose.
BT.
They're beaten.
Joe, what games Derby Day wise stick out in the memory for you?
Obviously, Kabul. I just remember watching that. It's absolute crazy. Mum literally telling me, "Shut up, Joe. Shut up." I'm going. We've just beaten them. I'm done. Going around. I think I was literally running around the house, top off, swinging it around, going absolutely chaotic. Obviously, but then another one that does stick in my mind. We didn't win it, but the one where David Bentley scored the screamer.
4-4.
4-4.
Yeah.
What, that was
that was
great
one that I
game.
was gonna say because
Because
I mean
speak about the RSPCA, I think you needed to get one for that, didn't you?
I think because I think that game especially stick because we just had Harry, didn't really know
Literally,
what
yeah.
was what direction we're going, anything like that. You know, these guys are 4-2 up and we think, oh, here we go again. But I think that was Nelson, you talk about statements with the game last season. I think that one for us at that time was a real statement. Where we were trying to get to as a club, and I think we'd lost our way slightly under Juan de Ramos, and I think that one was like, oh, right, okay, we've got a bit of something about us as well. And I remember that game, Lennon scoring from, and just going, there was just pure limbs in the McGrath household that evening. And I think it come up the other day, it was Bentley's birthday, so Spurs had put that goal out, and somebody had messaged me to say that it was just limbs that particular night. I was going mental.
Well, there's something else. That was the last time we had a North London derby when I was at Centre Parks this weekend. Centre Parks again, North London derby. If that happened, imagine it's 4-4 again.
I'd rather fill up for the heart rate.
I'll have a heart attack.
Do you know that game, the 4-4 game? Wasn't that? I think that was the first game between them that season, right? And then I think the second time we faced was at White Hart Lane. Was that the game that Danny Rose then scored that screen?
No, that was a couple of years later.
Okay, cool.
But speaking of that game, that one sticks out to me very, very well because I was away with my family. We'd met these guys, and there were like two really good mates. One was Spurs, one was Arsenal. So we went and watched the game with them in the pub there, and just going absolutely mental when Rose hit that. And there's quite a few Spurs in the pub as well that were also celebrating. And then when Bale scored, it went again. And there's people that were sort of standing just in front of us where we were, and they were getting a bit irate about it. They didn't quite like it. And then when Arsenal scored, they jumped up, and we were like, calm down, mate, calm down. Right. Like, it's 2-1. Like, it's all right. But I think the 5-1 in the cup, don't think anybody can really sort of look past that one. That was just a fantastic night. I think we were just bang at it that particular night. And again, I remember that one quite fondly because done it with a mate of mine. So obviously him and his dad are Arsenal, me and dad Tottenham. We went to their house for the first leg. They come to ours for the second leg. It was they tried to
the first 10 minutes.
They tried to unsettle me and my dad. They gave us a little bit of a sofa. That was it. And I was like, right. For some bizarre reason, I had a day off school and just set the front room up. And it was anything Tottenham in the house. It was in that front room, and tried to make a statement to them of like, no, we mean business and whatnot. But I think the derby game at Wembley, the 1-0, the Harry Kane header. I mean, Harry Kane has scored a couple of really good, impressive goals in North London derbies, but I think the one at Wembley, and I need to go and empty Moussa Dembele's pockets because he's still got Granit Xhaka, Jack Wilshere and Mesut Ozil in them from that day. I remember just watching it go. That was probably one of the best performances from a midfield player that I have witnessed. He marshalled the 3-man midfield of Arsenal so well that day, and I remember that was like, right, we knew we were at Wembley. That was like the first, it should have been the only derby that we had at Wembley, but circumstances meant we had another one. But the atmosphere that day was electric. You couldn't hear them lot, which is quite unsurprising because away days you guys do make some noise, but the noise at Wembley that day was fantastic. And like I say, Dembele ran the show, and he was my favourite Spurs player for the time that he was with us, and for that to sort of be his last North London derby, he certainly went out on a high.
Or the last one at the Lane though. Last one
again,
at the Lane,
that's a special one. We was again bang at it that day, and didn't give them any moments of peace or anything like that. But I think there's one that we watched, Nelson, the draw at.
Oh yeah, the draw.
The 1-1 with the
1-1, yeah.
The one where Wimmer scored the own goal and Harry Kane penalty, and again Dembele doing Dembele things, just gliding past people like he's on Strictly or he's on Darts and Ice.
That game was I think I screamed out something like.
Yeah, when there was a bit of a scrap, you just hear Nelson shout out, "Dash him!" and the whole pub just starts going mental and just laughing and whatnot.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's so many so many games. I think, especially
It's always
recently
been
when we've been at a similar.
Yeah, you
Sort of
like,
level.
brought
I
the
think-
game up.
As much as obviously we don't like you guys don't like us. I think you can always count on an entertaining game.
Yeah.
And obviously, if we just take away our like ties towards our teams and just be neutral as football lovers, I think it's a great, yes, honestly a great.
It gives you everything because you know there's going to be a scrap at some point because both sets of players seem to hate each other. Eric Dyer thinks he's 6'5" and absolutely massive every time.
He is.
He is like
Absolute. You wouldn't want to meet him in the street, would you?
nah, he is a big boy, but
Sorry, mate.
he gives it a bit too much. Gives it absolute banes at times. You know it's gonna get scrappy. You can get high vibes from everyone around the stadium, no matter where it is. Even at Wembley, like there was passion about it because both sets of fans normally hate each other.
Yeah, but I think it's a weird one for the fans because Derby Day you hate each other, but I think for the majority of the season we can almost
All hate Chelsea.
tolerate each other. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's great that I think we can tolerate each other to a point,
Yeah.
and
That's for you to say.
tolerate to a point. Whatever that point is on your spectrum, you let me know.
It's,
But it could be quite low. But honest, yeah, I think majority of the time. I mean, growing up, most of my mates were Arsenal fans, so I had to deal with a lot, and I'm trying to give it back to them now, and they're still not having it. But
one mainly Chelsea, sadly. All plastic, obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now City fans.
but yeah, I think we've learned. Well, I've learned anyway to just tolerate them a bit more because of what has sort of happened, especially over the past few years. Yeah, these guys might win the game, but ultimately we've come out on top.
Yeah.
In the end, especially in the last few seasons. So, but, Sunday's going to be an interesting game. I am going to be there, so it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm working.
It's going to be a difficult.
I'm in the kitchen though, so I'll do what I did last week and just have the game on. Got sent home early for watching Spurs Newcastle in the kitchen.
I've got a question.
Go on then.
Obviously, many entertaining games between our sides. I guess we'll go around and favourite goal.
Oh, no, you can't go doing that to me. I've got about 6.
I've got so many.
Favourite goal.
That is a great question.
Just one of them.
I knew I brought you here for a reason.
All I'm saying is that this is going to go on for an extra 5 hours.
I hope not. I think for me, has to be Danny Rose, because to do that
On
on
your
your debut,
Yeah.
that is. I mean,
Fair,
he didn't
he's
have to
tried
do
it every other
anything
week.
else after that in his Tottenham career,
He's a deity.
but he was already a Tottenham legend after that goal.
Yeah.
After that goal, he didn't, like I say, he didn't have to do anything after that. To do that at 19 years of age on your Premier League debut for Tottenham in a North London derby, I mean, I don't think it gets. I don't know where you go from that really. I mean, yes, we've had Harry Kane's collection of goals over the past, that couple of headers that he's done. The one at Wembley, the one at the Lane, the one that bent round in off the post where Dele chased it down. But I just think that Rose one, just because it has. I mean, every goal has something and a meaning behind it. I just think that one's just that little bit extra special for me.
We'll go like Christmas.
There's a few. There's so many.
You've got to pick just.
I'm gonna go just because of what it meant at the time.
I was going to say Rosicki.
Oh no. I'm going Henri, the last North London derby at Highbury, where he's cut down the wing, cut in and popped it perfectly into the corner. Last North London derby at Highbury. I remember being there, and I remember Bully,
Yeah.
one that looks like a pirate, throwing me about 3 rows down when Henri scored that goal. Like, I just love the man.
He was class, to be fair. You can't take that word out.
Ireland fans.
Apart from his fashion sense.
Ireland fans might have.
That's a bit different though.
It never meant to happen. Just leave it alone.
Right, Joe, come on in.
Obviously, Danny Rose, absolute belter. I am swaying towards the Kane one where he's bent it.
Class goal, isn't it?
It was absolute rocket. it's either that or Bentley for me, because Bentley's was absolutely audacious. How he thought, right, North London, I'm going to just do this, mate. Put it top corner. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he used to play for Arsenal as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
But he's a Tottenham
Yeah,
man as
exactly.
well. Like,
And that's the thing. That must have meant so much for him. And obviously, he didn't have, you know, best time with us. You know, that's probably like absolute scenes. And I think that all came for me personally, just because both absolute rockets. Obviously,
Yeah.
Danny Rose, yes. I just feel.
I mean, if you was to, as a coach, if you was to break down Danny Rose's goal, there is so much wrong with it.
Exactly.
Technique-wise,
Absolutely.
It's gone down the
Absolutely.
middle.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Everywhere you say anything that you say not to do when striking a ball, Danny Rose virtually does. He's off balance as well,
Balance, everything.
and whatnot.
He's
Yes, I'm not
absolutely
disregarding
fantastic.
Kane or Bentley's goals, by the way, but yeah, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nels, what you going for?
When I thought about asking the question, Ramsey's goal came into mind. The little flick.
Oh, the
Okay.
I think
Back
that game was
line.
2-2.
Yeah,
We had 10 men.
that
as
was
well.
the same game
Yeah.
as the Kane
The
goal.
Kane goal. Okay, so wow, I didn't, yeah. So I'd probably go for. I had that in mind, but then I think I'm going to take it back a bit, because this was a player that played for both clubs,
Oh, okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
he scored
I
an
know the
absolute,
Yeah.
scored an
Adebayor.
absolute worldie.
Adebayor, I
Like,
remember that one.
flick volley at the lane.
I think
Probably meant to be a
the
pass.
season before,
Yeah,
you wouldn't think that he would bag 25 a season,
no,
and then I don't know, that year Fabregas obviously went up a different level.
yeah,
I think he scored a belter just
yes,
before that.
yes, I
He scored
remember.
an
It was
absolute
like 2
belter.
and 2,
But there's
wasn't
just something about Adebayor's like back to goal and instinct to just flick it on the turn.
That was Phil. Fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I remember trying to recreate that goal in training. Just like right, I think it was at like a, I think it was at like a camp, like an advanced centre or something like that, and it was like right, we're doing shit right. Come on then, give me an Adebayor. And the kid like right, and we just tried to.
Try it, yeah.
Well, we talk
So-
about great goals in Northland derbies. What about Cess in the 3-0, nicking it on the halfway line, going past everyone,
That's a
picking
good
at
one.
bottom corner.
I
So
still
if
get
we
how
if
you
we
guys-
sit here and talk about goals in derbies, we're going to be here
That's
all
the thing.
night.
I have to admit, I remember
Rosicki,
that was a good goal.
absolute king.
Yeah.
1-0,
Even
wasn't
Tim
it?
Sherwood was celebrating that one.
I think as well, the Bale and Lennon goals
Yes.
when we beat them 2-1. But I
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
They're not wealthy goals,
But they just
but they were
so
well worked.
yeah.
And you
I
know,
remember
picking
them
locks
so
and,
well.
and
Yeah,
things like
really,
that. So
yeah.
I think those are. But yeah, I think like you say, you've got quite a few from the main man, Harry Kane. You've got Danny Rose. You've got Bentley. You've got the Genus's goal in the 4-4.
Genus,
That
yeah.
was
That's an underrated goal.
Yeah.
Oh, it is, especially the
Um,
importance of it.
Yeah, and then the time of the game as well. But I think you're right, Connor. If we went through different Derby Day goals, we could be here a while.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Bale's free kick
Yeah.
in that game
Yes.
that Adebayor and Fabregas both hit absolute
Absolute
screamers.
Ping
That's Bale's
central.
first North London derby as well, as a young, very young
Young
player.
Jermaine Defoe in the 5-4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so many over the years, and I think you're right, Connor. We could be. We
We'll
could
miss
be
the
here all
derby.
night. Yeah, we will probably.
Missed it. What's the score?
Yeah,
Oh,
I hope
no.
not. I hope I don't miss it because I am actually going.
Oh,
So
I mentioned it.
yeah,
Sorry, Art.
but gents, thank you very much. I think that's going to conclude the Derby Day special for now. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and up the Spurs.
I'm on a blood
Come
fight.